Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, host. I've got David with me who's driving. We've just been the game. We've just seen Everton lose again. This is the 16th, if my memory serves me correctly. This is the 16th defeat of the season. Where do I start with that? From very early on in the game, you felt the flat atmosphere. You felt the lack of game plan. I think we really struggled. I think there was some sort of game plan was to try and get Coleman in behind on the right, and build up with four, and defend with five. But what we did was we sort of pressed, and in the first half in particular, we looked reasonably organised, and we sort of pressed to a point. But Wolves always seemed to have a player free. They could play out quite comfortably. They were technically better than us. They moved the ball better than us. When we got the ball, they sat back, Wolves, knowing that pretty much doing what Spurs did. Not as well as Spurs, but waiting for us to make mistakes, waiting for us to give away possession. And don't worry, we didn't defend that bad. The goal was just a moment of quality, and Michaelenko, for me, I mean, people will be afraid to slate him, but I don't think he's good at all. He doesn't get near the winger. He doesn't get near them at all. And again, that goal is a prime example of not stopping the cross, not closing him down, and defenders ball watching, not attacking the ball. I think it was Connor Cody who scored.
He did.
It was, you couldn't write it. Well, you could write it. I mean, it's unbelievable, glaringly predictable. But I'm leaving Goodison now, and I genuinely think this is the worst. I felt. I mean, during the actual match itself,
we're down, aren't we?
I mean, I look at the table, look at the results. Now. Leeds won, Watford won.
You didn't see it because you left, but the players just dropped to the floor, most of them, because they're just shot in confidence now. They couldn't win that game, or where are they going to win another game from?
David says that they all dropped down to the floor, and
some of them were flat out on the floor.
They were. To be honest, they were fucked. And a lot of them were hung out to dry today. I mean, you can see. Look at me. Look at State, but the players were hung out to dry with a formation and a system that didn't suit them. You're playing against Wolves, who were really well schooled in the back formation. And we tried to do that the same and match them. And every single time we've tried to do that, we failed. I mean, Wolves are actually a team we've beat comfortably many times at Goodison. Richarlison absolutely loves playing against Wolves. But today, he was another completely off the pace. And the movement from everyone, I would describe it as like Sabutio. Players not making runs, not willing to take responsibility. And to be honest with you, we deserve to go down, and there's loads of factors, the shambolic recruitment, the fact we've got sponsors, involved, key sponsors and owners that have vested interest in Russia. The recruitment's abysmal, the results abysmal. It's all gone to pot when you're hiring Rafa Benitez. And the fine margins as well on the pitch and off the pitch have absolutely not gone for us this season. David, there's no positives to take. Even Anthony Gordon, again today, who you would say has been one of the best players for us this season, he really struggled.
He was good at pressing, Gordon. He instigated
for 10 minutes.
Pressing. The first 15 minutes, if we're being objective, the first 15 minutes we were fine. Then Wolves started crying and playing on the floor. And after that, it was like an away game where we just lost any sense of control, any pressing was out the window. It was ad hoc. And just the whole build-up out the back was shambolic. And just the players themselves didn't know how to build up from the back. Pickford was screaming.
The fans certainly. I mean, I'm sat in the park end. The fans were absolutely livid with the way that we tried to build up from the back in the game. Inviting pressure because we're just not good enough at it. The fullbacks offer diddly squat. No matter who plays, they're all really poor. and the midfield was completely exposed and outnumbered. So the playing from the back wasn't an option. And going long, you've got really poor performances from Damari Gray. Gordon was quiet. Richarlison was non-existent, and the ball kept coming back at us. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not getting involved in the driving. I've got Dan with me. Hi, Dan.
How are we doing? You all right?
Utterly depressed coming away from the ground for that, mate. Honestly, it was a complete sickener. I know it's different watching it online, but can you give me sort of your overarching thoughts on the game? And I know there's a huge emotional side to it, and I know if you separate that and look at it as an individual game, you might think of it differently. But in the context of us in a relegation battle, can you assess? I
think it's the same. I think it's the same watching it at home, mate. It's just gutting, isn't it? You don't know what to say. It's depressing. That I don't feel that we took advantage of the first half. We didn't attack enough. We passed back. And I honestly thought the first half we could have done something, but we didn't do it. And the second half, it would bite us in the arse. And literally, that's what happened. But
they play with a bit of fear there, would you say? I mean, I was under the impression there was a very bright 10-minute spell, and then when the Wolves players were going down injured every 2 minutes and trying to stifle the crowd, it worked.
I do feel, yeah, to what you've just said, I do feel we was on top at the start of the game, and then when that player kept going down, it stopped it. And the momentum went because the crowd was decent. We was attacking, and then after he come off, it was just back passing, and we wasn't urgent. And I felt like it was slowly going downhill. Then and Wolves, because at the start of the game, Wolves wasn't for me massively in the game. They looked scared themselves, and we could have took advantage of that, and we didn't. We could have got a couple of goals first off if we attacked them, I felt, but second half, they come out how I thought they'd come out, and they come out all guns blazing. The confidence had grown.
What would you say if you were the Wolves manager? It'd be such an easy team talk at half time to tell them.
I mean, personally, I'd say that Everton are fragile, and you wait for a set piece, you wait for an opportunity for them to make a mistake or to switch off. I do agree with you, Dan, that Wolves did come out fragile, and they sensed that, and that's why I think they had that injured player, Chan it was, going down 3 times, trying to disrupt us. But, you can't excuse it's a second 90 minutes without a shot on target. Where are the patterns of play? Where is the build-up? What is Lampard trying to do? Week in, week out, he's changing the formation. He's trying to adapt, but
I don't think he trusts the defence whatsoever, does he? By playing wing backs that are defenders. He obviously don't trust his left back and right back if he's playing players to help him out, and it'd be nice to have wingers in those positions that can actually attack. It's just all confusing at the minute. Even I don't know what to do. I don't know the answers. I've thought about it today, and I've thought about it other games, but I haven't got the answers.
Why didn't we stick the extra midfielder in there? I mean, I do get the whole idea behind some of the rotations between Kenny, Coleman, and Gray on that side. It was trying to get Coleman in behind. But once that stopped working, the only real benefit I saw from having the 3 centre-backs was that one of the 3 could go in with Jimenez, who would drop into midfield. But I felt we're the home team. When has 5 at the back truly ever worked for us? And on the other hand, Dan, perhaps he didn't want to put the extra midfielder like Alan in there because there was no space anyway to work with in those areas. And it might have been better offensively to have an extra player out wide. Either way, it didn't work. There was no solutions. Wolves almost looked like they came to try and play for a point and nick a goal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't feel like Wolves was that. I felt like Wolves was there for the taking first half. I feel like them getting that goal from us. We kept the commentators said it. We kept giving set pieces, stupid fouls away, and if you give Wolves set pieces, that was going to be their good chance of scoring. And obviously, Cody scored, and we knew. Well, I felt personally with Holgate and Godfrey that would be our main danger. That we've got no one that can clear the ball header-wise, but we shouldn't have kept giving stupid fouls away. And then Kenny getting sent off, obviously that topped it off as well. We wasn't coming back after that, after he got sent off. But
was it the right thing to send him off?
It's a stupid challenge, wasn't it? It wasn't a bad challenge, but by the rules, you're going to get sent off if you make that foul. Probably could have been given. It probably could have been given a chance and said one more, but he had the right to send him off because it was a stupid challenge that he shouldn't have made.
And the player that he's better than Michaelenko, but he's being hung out to dry on the left, where he's not natural. You know, it's not going to work long term. For me, I was sat in the park end and I thought, and I posted this on Twitter and I got hammered for it, but I said, you know, why has he sent him off? Because he let a lot of fouls, which were yellow card worthy, go throughout the game, particularly for Wolves, disrupting it and silly challenges, and he let them go. And then the minute John Joe Kenny, who didn't really make any fouls all game, you know, made a second yellow worthy foul, he could have warned him. But, you know, the minute he gives that reaction and puts his hand up, I think he makes it easy for the ref as well.
I don't feel like we took advantage of them playing the high line. I felt like one good ball over the top and Richarlison was in. It was so simple. Their defensive line was so high. And the commentators kept saying they've got a high line. And Richarlison, if he just timed it, if he timed his run right, he would have got in there. But I don't think we played many balls over the top to him either. We really didn't. There were so many ways that we could have hurt Wolves that first half. And that's what frustrates me. The crowd's there. First off, you've got to use the crowd. The crowd was shouting. You've got to attack. Don't keep. The crowd started moaning. I don't know whether you heard it there, but us passing the ball back all the time, the crowd was getting frustrated with it. And you can't keep passing the ball back when you need to win.
The crowd was flat, and then it became toxic when the players kept doing the same things, like 3-yard passes between Decore and central defenders, which weren't progressive, not willing to take any responsibility. For me, Decore was absolutely shambolic today, and it was basically a one-man midfield, Van der Beek. Mentally, the players looked shot. I mean, David said they all dropped to the floor at the final whistle. Was that the case?
I didn't see that part. I got frustrated by that and switched it off. I didn't switch it off till like 93rd minute, but I didn't see at the end of the game what the players.
Too painful to watch.
I'm really, really frustrated with this result. It's starting to get to me now because I was positive and said we're gonna win and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it is mentally draining at the minute now because I do not have no answers. I couldn't pick a team that could do it at the minute. I don't know what Lampard's got a hard job on his hands there because he's got. I thought Godfrey played really well. I thought he was the massive positive. To be fair, he got proper stuck in and he was like
I don't think
everywhere.
They defended that bad, did they?
No,
really?
Godfrey for me, I thought he was a massive buzz because he looked like he. Do you know when he played under Carlo and he had all that energy and he was fast and got stuck in? He was that player today. And I felt like he was all right, but we just got done on the wings and stupid fouls and stuff like that. And obviously centre midfield, towards the end, they just completely started running through us as teams do when we play the two. But
we got 10 men.
The most concerning thing at the moment coming out of that is we don't really look like creating that much of a clear-cut opportunity the whole game. I completely agree. I can't put it right in my head why we can't just get on the ball through the middle and play a ball through, or it just seems it's just either run into a player.
There was no movement and no space.
No, there's no movement. That's what. There's nothing in front. Normally, you get that movement that creates a chance, but it felt like the only way that we'd score is if Gordon or Gray runs past someone and puts Richarlison in on a cross. Nothing through the middle looked possible.
And this is where it comes to the fact that, you know, you point at Richarlison being a Brazil number 9, but, you know, he's just as guilty as everyone, you know, for his goals output and his lack of movement and lack of quality. And that's where you have to say, you know, and annoyingly, these players, Godfrey and Decore, Richarlison, they've all got experience of relegation. And they don't seem to have the fight to drag us out of it. I know there's a lot of comments coming in. There's 85 people watching on Facebook and YouTube and probably another dozen on Twitter. Good afternoon. I know this is an absolutely terrible afternoon of results across the board. It's devastating. We'll try and bring you all the Everton content. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button for us. I'm just going to briefly look through the comments and bring some things in for you, Dan, to comment on, if that's okay. There's loads, so I can't bring everyone in. It's hard because there's so many comments. I'm just going to pick the best ones.
There's going to be some angry ones there, I'm sure, because I'm fuming, so I can imagine what the comments are.
Well, I think this is the worst I've felt since I've started the channel on a video doing a reaction. And there's been some very bad away games where I've gone and I've got myself worked up for it and felt really positive and come away wanting to stick my head in the sand. This almost feels like we were when we went to Anfield and lost 1-0 with the kids in the League Cup. It was kind of like a sinking humiliation.
It feels like luck's against us as well now. I feel like it feels like we've also got bad luck as well as not performing well.
I mean, you just have to compare us with other teams and see the refereeing decisions and the fine margins in games never go our way.
Just like that Richarlison header, that Richarlison headed it on that Gordon cross and it just skimmed the post, and sometimes they can go in for you and you get the draw. And he hit the post. It was a good header. He hit the post, and sometimes they go in for you. But when it doesn't go in, it's the post and it looks like it's going. And also the Richarlison chance where he hit the side netting. He took it early and hit the side netting. Sometimes they go in. You just need that bit of luck as well in football. And I don't feel like, when they don't go in, you feel, bloody hell, it's not our day. And that's the way it seems on top of us not performing well.
Would you like to see Everton play more of a counter-attacking style and try and wait for other teams to leave space for us to exploit with our quick players? Because we haven't got that creativity in midfield. I haven't had it all season. We've lost James, we've lost Gylfi Sigurdsson, we've lost Luca Dean. I only think the strong point we have is probably crosses, but you've got Calvert-Lewin injured. We haven't got the crosses actually from fullback anymore. Do you think, I'm looking at the fixtures: Arsenal, Chelsea, Goodison, United at home, Liverpool away, West Ham away. It's not going to get any easier. And in my heart of hearts, I think we will be going down this season, and genuinely.
I think what's worrying is we keep trying stuff and we haven't got a style of playing. We don't know who we are. We've got no identity at the minute. If we was like performing the same every game, we'd know where we're at. But we keep trying to put the jigsaw pieces together and we can't find what we are. And that's frustrating for me, because Everton under Moyes, we always knew who we was and we knew our players and we knew what we'd do. We knew what sort of performance we'd get. And now it's completely like unpredictable. No one knows what's going to happen. And that's why this relegation battle is so scary, because we literally don't know what we're going to get each game. No performance consistent. No players are consistent. Our defence, we don't know what it's going to be. And a lot of these teams in the relegation battle, they are playing better than us at the minute, and they know what they are and who they are. And we don't. It's really confusing watching us. I'd love to see us put a team out the same every week now and just fight and see what we can do. But I wouldn't even. Lampard's got to change that again, hasn't he? And not many people know what the answers are. Sorry.
It's hard to do that mid-season as well. Start ripping things up and starting again. And part of me thinks it was a bit naive to start thinking he could, polish a turd and make these players, into something they're not. And I think you've got to know what tools you've got in the box. It's something, Basil sat next to me, my little brother David. He said you've got to know what tools you're working with. And I think Lampard was naive coming in, thinking Michael Keane. We didn't play today. We defended better without him. Dare I say it? But again, it's one of those thoughts where
trying to change everything now when we're in a scrap for relegation. Is it the time to start ripping it up? And
we have to do something different.
Bits different, but you saw what Ancelotti did when he came in and steadied the ship. He didn't rip it up till, and then he did little things in the summer. He brought the players in to change the system.
I'm going to go to the comments. There's 85 watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We appreciate your support. We've got Dan with me today. Give him a follow on Twitter. His handle is there. He's firmly part of the channel now. And we've got some big things coming from Dan in the future. So stay tuned with us. Dave Weston saying he doesn't think Michaelenko is ready. He's not good enough for the league and has a lack of focus.
He's right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think there's people really reluctant to slate him with him being a new signing, but I judge as I see. And if he wasn't ready, why are you fucking signing him in January? That's my thoughts on it. And every time I've seen him, he's like, doesn't really offer anything going forward whatsoever. He doesn't seem like a runner. And defensively, he backs off too deep. His starting position is always really deep. Doesn't look like stock in the cross. Hugh is saying, why are we outnumbered in midfield? Need to sacrifice a winger. Coleman added no threat. Sophie's, please, John Joe Kenny will be missing. Actually, I think all that does, Sophie's, mean that Michael Keane will come in at centre-half and Ben Godfrey will go to left-back for Newcastle. Over 100 watching now. We've got Everton Rose, a friend of mine, fantastic Everton YouTuber. She says, we are absolutely hopeless. They were so much better than us all over the pitch. She's right. Nathan saying, I'm only going to say this one more time, play the hungry players, which means dropping 90% of the senior team and letting Dobbin play the remaining games. I'm sick of watching them with no interest. In fairness, I think you'll get to the point where the players are so void of confidence that you really just have to bring someone in who's not on the floor in terms of confidence. But isn't Lampard's job to try and motivate these players and to make them feel like they can, offer something in the games, Dan?
Yeah, I think their players look motivated. We just don't play together well as a team. Like you said, we couldn't carve chances out, and it's just a team play that we didn't pass the ball well. I mean, if you went through all the players, they all did put a shift in. They did run and stuff like that, especially first off. They were running, closing down fast, and we were getting the tackles in. And we wasn't given... I actually thought we defended well first half against Wolves. They didn't look like scoring for me. Obviously, second half, it all changed.
In the second half?
Yeah, second half, it all changed. I thought it was okay first half, but second half, they come out fast. I don't know whether it's because Wolves wasn't very good first half. But Lambert, the players looked up for it, but we just... Go on.
One thing that didn't help was the fact that Everton thought it would be a good idea to put the scores for the other games on the scoreboard at the point when Leeds were winning and Watford were winning. And from that moment in, I mean, I felt a flush of deflation, and I think the atmosphere then took a turn to the worst. That really didn't help. But I really can't put my finger on what changed between the first and second halves. I think maybe Wolves just played with a bit more intensity and faster.
Yeah, Wolves stepped it up a gear. They came out and you see it immediately. They switched to play immediately, which they didn't really do in the first half. And they stretched the pitch and they played quicker and through the lines. And we just were nowhere near them. We just let them start to dominate the game. And
once
we can see the goal.
Was there a fitness issue? Because there was a lot of anger directed at a lot of players for being slow and lethargic.
I just think it's quite basic. I think when you start the game, the crowd sounded all right at the start of the game. And I just think when you start the game, you've got to go at Wolves all guns blazing. And we did start attacking them well. And Wolves looked on edge, and they didn't look that good at the start of the game. If you watched it back, they didn't look that good. And then, like I say, after that player started getting injured bits and bobs, the game slowed down. And then we decided to not apply the pressure as much. And we started passing it back. And we had that Everton attitude where we thought, we'll just keep possession and the chance will come itself. And we shouldn't have done that. We should have kept putting pressure on them. Because the moment we started passing it back towards the end of the second half, Wolves started to regain composure. And they started to think, you know what? The crowd's toned down a little bit now. This is a bit easier. And they started to find themselves towards the end of that second half. And that's what worried me, because if we kept driving at them and kept the pressure on, I do feel we could have got a goal that first half with how much we was on top of them. And then second half, they come out with the confidence that they gained at the end of the first half, and they just played like that. And then we couldn't find our rhythm, and then they was in the game.
I don't know whether I've lost it.
Have you? I don't know.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it lagged a little bit. I mean, the beauty of raw footage after the game.
Yes.
I did hear generally what you said.
Ask Dan how Neves played.
How did Neves play for Wolves?
The second half he played well, didn't he? But that's because he got time and space.
He looks chubby though, Neves, and he looks like he can't run. But then, he's completely dominated the entire game and playing at his own pace. It's what you thought someone like Andre Gomez would do for us. Got loads of comments. So Dan, I'm going to go through the comments. I mean, we could sit and talk for an hour and inquest every little detail as to what happened and the pattern of the game and how things happen. But I don't think now's the time and the place. I think I just want raw reaction. I mean, I'm feeling absolutely depressed. I think it's amazing that we've actually come on really and faced up the reality of what's going on at the moment. And
I was tempted not to come on because I was that depressed from the game. I was going to pull out because it's really frustrating me now because Lampard keeps saying, and I'm behind Lampard 100%, but he keeps saying, don't put too much pressure on the players. We've got loads of time. We need to start playing like we have got pressure on us. It's like I said, that first half, you need a goal. We need to win. And we need to try and win from the first minute. And we need to go all guns blazing because we are in what we do to get that Wolves game back and actually go for it. We didn't go for it the first half. We've got to go for it. And look at Newcastle. Look at the position they was in and they've won 4 or 5 games on the bounce. And they haven't even got good players, but they just want to fight to stay up. And we're not fighting to stay up yet. When are we going to show this fight for us to stay up? Because we're not seeing it yet. And Lampard, I'd like him to change his style and say the pressure's on now. You need to start fighting from the moment that game starts. We need goals because we need to win games. Draws ain't even going to do it in some games. We need to start winning. I don't like this relaxed Everton at the minute. Like we're not in the relegation battle because we massively are, even more so after this game.
What really annoyed me in that first half in particular was the lack of urgency and the speed of which we played the ball when we did have it. I mean, there was lack of movement was one thing, but even just shifting it from side to side and working opportunities, it was slow and there was no urgency and there was no willingness to get the ball back in play. Corners were not, absolutely useless. And we needed a plan B, and I didn't see that today. He brought on Dele Alli, who I'm going to come to in a minute. In the comments, people are talking about him, but just wasn't there. And we're yet to see Lampard, whether he's got the tactical nous to do something, because we should be winning games at home against most teams. I mean, that some might say that's self-entitled, but when you spent nearly 600 million on players who individually have, reputations, it's simply not good enough. And it's scary now. Hugh is saying Alan needed to be the sub, not Dele. There was zero effort in the press from him. Would you agree with Hugh?
I just think it was a hard time. I was itching for Ali to come on because I thought he could carve us a chance, but I think it was a bad time for him to come on. He keeps coming on in games where he needs to do something like urgent, where I'd like him to start a game and do his stuff. I do feel he's a good player, but we've got to start playing him behind the striker and let him put Richarlison in. He nearly put him in once, but this playing Coleman and Mikalenko in front of the left back and right back, for me, is just wasting players. I'd like to see Gray and Gordon on the wings and us just going for it, and then having that extra attacker and playing Ali.
Well, we touched on it in the preview. I don't know whether you caught the preview, but we were talking about Dele Alli potentially being a really good link up with Calvert-Lewin as a number 10, and Gray, Gordon, and Richarlison, buzzing around them and feeding them. And you think there's options there. There's so much quality on paper, but on grass, obviously, it's dreadful. And obviously coming off the bench, into games which high intensity, it's not worked for him.
I do like that Ali does look to drop deep. He looks to drop deep and get his head up. But I feel when he come on, it was a situation where he needed to close down and get us the ball back because we needed a goal quick. Where if he would have started, him dropping deep, if he played that first half, he might have put a few players in because we need someone to put Richarlison in.
Talk about getting your head up and playing forward. Van der Beek, I didn't see him play forward past the entire 90 minutes.
Well, neither of them in that midfield were prepared to do anything dynamic. and they had a hell of a job to do, didn't they?
I think that's the worrying part. You look at their centre midfielders, Moutinho and Navas. They do defend, and they're good on the ball as well. Where Van der Beek and Decore just seem to defend.
Pace and legs.
You can't just have centre midfielders that can only defend. Decore needs to box the box as well.
Midfielders don't have pace.
Yeah, it's scary. We can't get the centre midfield right, and we can't get the defence right.
Caught what I said there.
It froze a little bit.
The Wolves players, their central midfield, they haven't got runners in there. They haven't got pace and legs in there. They've just got footballing brain that I don't think our players have. No matter who plays, no matter who comes on. And that's the scary thing for me. Because athletics, wise, Decore should be dominating that midfield. But for me, I felt like he was having to cover spaces out wide. He was having to cover too many different areas. I felt like the midfield was just left to do too many things. And you've got these pointless fullbacks offering, next to nothing. And a target man in Richarlison isolated, not moving, and Gordon and Gray dropping in, trying to make something happen, but being completely outnumbered.
It's cut off, bud.
You still there?
Yeah, you've come back on. You left me alone then.
No, it sometimes does that. It can be a bit weird. Should we have a look at the comments then? We need to get through these because we've got 100 people sat waiting for us to do it.
Go on then. Reveal them, see what they say.
So I'm nearly home, so I might end up switching onto the laptop, which might make it easier. There's been that many comments. Some of them have disappeared, unfortunately. So we'll just have to start. I'm really sorry if we missed you. CHD saying Ralph Ragnick from Manchester United will be available in the summer. Would you be interested in getting rid of Lampard and bringing Rangnick in?
I don't think getting rid of Lampard's the answer, is it? It's the players. It always has been the players. I think we had a good enough team to do something today, but they didn't.
Thanks for the lift, Basil. Mark Ramsey saying we were getting somewhere looking for through balls in the first half.
I agree with him. It was just one good ball over the top from our centre midfielder, and Richarlison was in. Richarlison was always making that run where he had the speed to do Cody all the time. Just one good ball over the top, and we had a goal. As simple as that. We didn't even need to play skillful football. It was just one ball that would have done them, and we didn't take advantage of that.
Well, I'm just coming into the house, so just while I do a little turnover and get plugged in, can you entertain people?
Yeah, I ain't got much to entertain, mate. I'm depressed.
Back in a sec.
I agree with that. Worst team in the league right now. I did say about the 3-5-2. Interesting, but I think we've played that. And I think we were literally a team that has played every formation and it hasn't worked, reading that comment. Like, we've done the 3-5-2, we've done the 4-4-2. I think probably the 4-2-3-1 will probably be next, but can't seem to nail any of them. Yeah, here's another comment. Even the 4-3-3, though, do you trust our left back and our right back to not get done down the wings if we do play the 4-4-3? Because that's what worries me. I think until we sort our defence out and it's strong, it's going to be worrying because it's always going to show. Will we go straight back up there? That's the question, because I agree we need a rebuild and we need to change a lot of things and stuff like that. But the money situation, I think it'd affect a lot of the things if we did go down. So whether we come, you can't say we'd come straight back up. You don't know what players we're going to keep. Obviously, we've got the best fans and that will always be. That's the good part about Everton. But whether we come straight back up or not, I don't think you could say that because no one knows what's going to happen. Money situation, what players would keep and how bad it would get. Yeah, I did read that about Moshiri putting the us on the market. I don't think anyone would come in and partner him, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It could just be fake news for me, though. I don't think he's going anywhere, especially if all his money's tied in the new stadium and stuff. I haven't looked into it too much because I don't like the thought of I don't think Moshiri's been that good, but I do think we need his money. What do you think about that with Moshiri? He come in and then he went then. What do you think about that, about Moshiri wanting other partners or maybe leaving?
Can you hear me okay? First and foremost,
I can hear you, bud.
Don't know whether something's coming back at me. I need to just disconnect from the... right.
I was just reading a few of the comments, bud.
Okay, fantastic. Right, we're back. Thanks, Dan, for covering that. Well, I just changed over because we've just obviously I've been at the game for my sins, and tried to get some content out straight after the game, which isn't easy, and especially when emotionally feeling all over the place. And honestly, it really does hurt. The Moshiri one for me, I would be open to him selling the club. I think his main business interests are in Russia. He's the chairman and the shareholder of the USM Group. I think it's possibly one of the worst types of ownership businesses to be in at the moment, and I feel potentially that he would be open to selling the club. I think though that won't happen until we've got the new stadium. That's my honest gut feeling. Some more comments to Pokey saying it's too predictable. We're a poor side. Wolves are much better than us. Ico is saying no chance. Again, Newcastle. Kevin saying, Ferguson is taking a seventh manager down. In fact, we don't really know what Duncan Ferguson does, and I don't really know what kind of impact and input Duncan's got nowadays. So I don't know whether it's fair to pin it on him.
I think he's had a massive step back. I don't think he's in the spotlight for anything. I think Lampard is quite, I'll do it my way and this, that and the other. And I think Duncan Ferguson isn't even in the spotlight at the minute. So I don't think you can blame him at all personally, but some will obviously because he's been around a long time.
Chris is saying lose to Newcastle and it's game over. I hope I'm wrong, but the way we played today, I have no faith, lack of urgency. I mean, I've watched Newcastle. What was the result today, Dan?
I haven't even looked, I was that scared I didn't look at the other results, but I've been watching Newcastle and I think the scary thing is that they are hungry and we're getting scared. It seems that we play like we're getting scared more in every game where they're not scared. All their players have got confidence and they're on a massive high. And our players are on a massive low. So if you put that against each other, it's not a good combination, is it?
I think Newcastle look organised and pragmatic. Yeah. They'll wait for us to make mistakes, and Everton will oblige. And the confidence is on the floor. And the sad thing is time is running out now. There's so few games left. I think there's 36 points to play for still. But I'll be honest with you, I'm anxious and I'm feeling terrible. We'll bring you all the content all the way through, all the remaining fixtures. Of course, if you're new here, please subscribe. I know there's 91 of you watching live, plus everyone on Twitter, and loads of people will watch it back. So please hit the subscribe button for us. We're at 926. I think we want 1,000 subscribers, don't we, Dan? And we deserve it. And we've got some good content coming up your way, which we are excited to share with you, but we're not divulging any information. But hopefully, some good things coming your way on the channel. Rose is saying Newcastle will be looking forward to the game. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. And Matty's saying the chairman, the board, the players deserve to get relegated, but the fans don't. I think that's a fair assessment, in fairness. I think everything
surrounding the club, the way we've recruited, the way we've handled ourselves, we deserve to go down. You know, the naivety of appointing Rafa Benitez as well, you know, who's a shit stain on the club. We deserve as a club to get relegated, and the league table and everything doesn't lie. Rose is saying the players did drop to the floor at the final whistle. If anyone can clarify what happened, because I was out of the ground at 93 minutes. I'd seen enough. I couldn't take any more. Dele Alli has brought nothing in. And there's loads of comments, to be honest, who says, you know, he's done nothing. Alan saying the squad is full of frauds. I can't see a scoring rest of the year, yet alone win a game. This has been brewing since Koeman came in. I would say to you on this, Alan, this isn't the same group of players under Koeman. You know, this isn't the same players of Silva. You know, there's no Cuckoo Martina, there's no Nias, there's no Schneidlin. Tosun's been banished. Kenny's obviously come back into the fold ridiculously, if you ask me, but out of desperation. But the vast majority of the players under those regimes have been moved on. Claessens, the Rooneys, the failing players have been shifted. So there's not the same excuse. These are new players. Patterson being brought in. He's, you know, if he was good enough, he'd be playing. Michaelenko, for me, has shown nothing. No ounce of footballing ability. And I'll get hammered for this because he's a new signing. But genuinely, I don't see anything, and I haven't seen anything. And I watched some of his highlights and clips. There was one he played, you know, for Ukraine against England, and he just fell over and they nearly scored, or they scored England. And I just think, you know, we deserve what we get. You know, you reap what you sow. The recruitment's been abysmal. And the players aren't fit, and they're undeserving of anything, really. I mean, Damari Gray come back in today, and you're thinking, fantastic player, you know, goes past players with ease, but it's always in the wrong areas. It's never, because there's no one who can get the ball to him in the areas where he can affect the game, which for me is out wide, cutting in, running at fullbacks. He's always dropping deep and having to beat six men. And the fitness isn't there for me when it comes to Damari Gray. A lot of people saying, you know, they feel sorry for Everton. We've got this guy here, or girl. Feel sorry for you guys, but we deserve to be relegated. 500 million. Ben, good evening, but good afternoon, Ben. 4 defeat in 5. I mean, if you look at it like that, Lampard's obviously really struggling. It's different. He's trying to do different things to what Rafa Benitez did, and it's the same effect. As Tom says, it's the same shit from different assholes. I mean, it's great. I mean, I said it before. One of my tweets was that these players aren't on the same page. They're not even on the same book. I
think the big problem is sometimes these players do it to all the managers. They get the managers believing in them, and then they let the manager down. And that's what seems to happen a lot. You said about Lampard, his current form and stuff like that, and I feel like he's trusted the players too much and actually gone out thinking they are going to win, when sometimes we should have been more defensive, and we've just been cut open because he's trusted the players too much.
Part of the problem, I think, with recruitment is players generally have come here for the wrong reasons. They've come here for money. They have. I mean, that's been an Everton problem. You know, we paid massive wages. We're now hamstrung by financial fair play. If we go down, it would be catastrophic because we've got players on huge salaries who we couldn't necessarily get rid of, and players, you know, of caliber and reputation who we have to sell on the cheap. Then how does that impact the stadium and the sponsorship? And you think Everton, obviously, you know, in terms of the size of the club, is absolutely gigantic in terms of following around the world, and you'd expect him to come straight back up, but you know, I don't see it. And Dan, at what point now do you have to prepare for, you know, next season and say, you know, we are shite, we're not getting any better, there's only so much we can do, and if we go down, what is the way of getting Everton back in the Premier League in a sustainable way, and a way that's, you know, we should be challenging for Europe as a club. The size of the club demands that, but I mean, it's a difficult question,
I honestly think that we need to evaluate Mina and get Mina back ASAP, because the moment that Mina's not playing, I know he gets injured all the time, and I do think move him on in the summer, but we need Mina in the squad because set pieces all the time. When Mina is not playing, we are awful at set pieces. And a lot of players have come forward and said Mina's a hard player to play against. And even if he's 80% fit, I would play him at the side of Godfrey, because I feel like he is someone we need. When we come up against the big teams in this relegation battle and we need points, I'd rather Mina be in the squad because I feel more confident with him in the team. I just feel like we need to get the defence sorted, and until you get that defence sorted, we're in trouble.
The problem is, he's not due back till the end of April now, unless a load of players get COVID and we can get some more games postponed or something. Then he's not going to be involved. For pretty much all the games this season. This is the defining week for Everton Football Club, as far as I'm concerned. We fucked up one of the games by not really going for it, and I don't know whether that's the setup stifling us, like it did against Boreham Wood, or the players not being there mentally or physically or whatever reason. But we've now got the Newcastle game, and Newcastle are not out of it yet, so they'll be really up for the game. And again, we should be beating Newcastle at Goodison. Whether that sounds self-entitled, because we are not very good, then so be it, but we should. And then we've got the FA Cup quarter-final against Palace. And I thoroughly expect us to lose both games, but it's a real hurting thing, and it's defining season. The players have got it in their own hands. They're capable of showing more than this. You've seen under Ancelotti and under other managers and elsewhere that they are individually good players, but you're trying to gel. You're trying to make it work. You're trying to put the wrong screw. You've got an M5 screw, and you're trying to put it in a giant hole. It's not working. All the comments. There's 140 of you watching. Good afternoon. Keep the comments coming in. Me and Dan will be with you for the foreseeable future until he tells me otherwise. And we'll happy to discuss any points you want us to go through. Please do subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I imagine at least half of you aren't subscribed. It takes 2 seconds, literally just hit that subscribe button. And if you're a blue nose, turn the notifications on. We stream match previews on the day of Lampard's press conference and reactions pretty much straight after the game. Home games can be delayed depending on the situation, because we all go the game normally, but away games generally you'll get content straight after, and midweek, if there's anything important for us to discuss, we'll come on. We also do Twitter Spaces. Dan is prominent on there with myself and Mabsy and some of the other Blues, so you can follow us on Twitter at Follow Everton, and also be sure to follow Dan as well directly. His handle is underneath him. I'm going to go back to the comments. Are you happy to stay on with me and look through these and address some of these comments and give your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll have a read. Try and calm me down a little bit. They'll probably make me more angry, but hopefully there's some nice ones on there. Is there a positive comment? Because I don't think you'll find one.
Positive comment. We're not going to have to play Liverpool. Wrong 11 for me. Lampard's not picking players to even get us draws. I mean, I felt today it was to try and get a point. I'll be honest with you. Tactically awful. Red cards, own goals, hitting the bar and post. It's a circus, isn't it, Dan, really, when you put it like that? It's very Everton.
Yeah, it's too defensive for me today. We needed to win and we didn't go out to win. You can't play that team with that many defenders when you need your attacking play. I honestly thought watching Wolves that first half, they could have been got today, and that's a massive loss for us. We didn't test them. I've come out of the game thinking we didn't even attack them. We could have beat them. I don't think Wolves was that good. I really do not think Wolves was good. I just think it was that we just let them keep the ball, have possession, and do what we let them do what they do.
They won't have an easier game, I don't think.
No.
Massey's saying it was not Lampard's fault because it was our best 11, Mari Mina. I'd say Calvert-Lewin still. I mean, he's had his injury problems, but you still want him in the team. He holds the ball up better. And he's a focal point. He occupies defenders in a way that Richarlison doesn't. It's up to the players, and Lampard deserves a medal if he keeps us up. Eugene is saying, these are all regulars, by the way, there's no fight in the team this season. I agree. I mean, I saw it against Man City, but I haven't seen it an awful lot. Beat Leeds because Leeds were really bad. I mean, they just about beat Norwich today in the last minute, of course. Fucking typical. I mean,
I don't even think the biggest thing is fight at the minute. I thought the work rate was there today. I think the biggest thing at the minute is ability and character. I'd like to see some of our players, midfielders especially, show some character, get on the ball, not be scared, and do something that's going to get us a goal, because no one's showing that that they have something about them. I mean, you watched Ronaldo the other night, not compared to Ronaldo in a million years, but him himself in that Tottenham game showed what he's about. And I'd love a player to step forward for us in midfield and say, right, let's do this. Let's play football like this and just thrive on the game and show some character.
Was that not meant to be Donny van der Beek?
Well, yeah, it was meant to be that, but they just seemed like they was just going to do basic stuff of pass the ball and not make the forward pass that they needed to make.
Guybrush Threepwood, hi mate. He's saying Lampard just isn't the right manager for a relegation battle, and these players aren't up for the fight. Barry is saying time to bring in some under 23 players that will show some fight and spirit. If Pep and Klopp were in charge, they wouldn't get a tune out of this team. It's a big comment.
That's the thing though about Lampard. I think Lampard's going to be amazing for next season if we stay up, because his football is going to be a good attacking football when he changes the players. But I think for a relegation battle, he isn't taking it like a relegation battle. I just feel like Lampard is good for the future because he'll get us good players that are attacking players, and we won't be in this situation again if we can stay up. But I just feel this relegation battle, he's wanting to play the attacking football sometimes, and it's costing us. In
the away games, this is the only entertainment that you've got.
I was just gonna get my dog in. I'll get my dog in the next one. I've just sorted her out and clipped her.
Clip the nail. There's nothing interesting really going on. I mean, animals are about the only thing that can cheer you up in these sorts of ruts. I mean, partners and stuff. You know, I love my girlfriend to bits, but you know, you just want to be fucking left alone, don't you? Do you know what I mean? You want to just be diving into some sort of cave and left to suffer.
I think if you are a proper Everton fan, I think and you do proper get into the game like we do and really do hope that Everton win, it is mentally draining. It is depressing. It can depress your whole day. And it has for me now. It's at the start of the game, honestly, every game I've always done it. I've always got behind Everton, always think they can win and stuff like that. But it does drain you because just watching the performance go downhill when you motivated yourself for the start of the game, it just takes you down and just knocks everything out of you mentally. Like I said, the fans are amazing. They've tried it a little bit saying it's the fans' fault, but the fans have always been amazing. We've always been behind them, and we're easy to please as well. One good tackle and we're shouting our heads off, but they don't even give us that sometimes.
You should have seen today, you know, there were times where the whole of the Gladys Street was just stood up for like minutes on end for no reason, like in expectation of, as if to say, you know, what the fuck is going on? And the park end angry and frustrated, and looks on Pickford's face, you know, it looks exasperated and frustrated. And for me today, someone wasn't doing their job properly, you know, in that press. Some of them weren't doing their jobs. That's the feeling that I got. And allowing the Wolves to come out and play through us and beat the press with ease. And something wasn't quite right. And the fans could sense that. And the fans have been with us, you know, through everything. Got a comment from What's for Dinner. I mean, the Twix at halftime at Goodison Park from, you know, it's about the only decent thing about going the game at the moment. He's saying, I'm hoping things improve. He's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, he's probably just hoping that so he can play us again. Do you know what I mean? Freaking hell.
It's not good for the city if you don't do well, he says.
I'm not even thinking about Liverpool at the minute. We're in our own situation and they're in their situation. They can do their thing. We can do ours. Scary times at the minute.
You have to. I tried, Dan, to really switch off from the league and not what I didn't. Be honest with you, when Everton don't play well, which was quite regularly, you know, I really do disconnect as much as I can from it. In terms of, you know, I bought FIFA 22 for the PS5. I played it about twice. You know, you lose interest in football. You don't watch Match of the Day. You don't watch the general games that really, you know, a Man United Spurs you just put on and enjoy, you know, for the sake of football. But with Everton being the way they are at the moment, you kind of just want to stick your head in the, you know, in the sand and switch off. But it's got to the point now where, with us being, you know, flirting with relegation, you know, you can't avoid it. You're kind of sucked in for the wrong reasons. Whereas at least if you were like last season, you could switch off and go, well, we're not great, but, you know, we are what we are. Tom's not happy about Watford, you know, winning. We need 3 in midfield. We need to be more aggressive. I mean, you say that, but I don't think we've got the
three
fullbacks.
worked.
No, we haven't got the
No, I
fullbacks.
agree with you. I don't personally think the three worked. I think we're trying everything and it's not working. I think all we need to do is just play as a team, and we're not doing that. We need to just pass the ball about, ping it about fast, visit across the surface, and just move forward quickly as a team. I don't think it's formation at the minute. You can play every formation, but if the players ain't linking together and working together and they're not up to it, up to standard, then it's always going to happen no matter what formation you play, in my opinion.
The 4-4-2 has arguably been the most productive for us over the last few seasons with Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Obviously, the injury to Calvert-Lewin dictated, the lineup to somewhat, but you'd think that the 4-4-2 has the least reliance on the fullbacks, which are clearly quite a weak area for us now, because maybe they can tuck in, stay a little bit more disciplined, and bring your width from your two wide players and go for high energy in midfield. Look, I'm not a coach or anything. I'm just food for thought, really. Newcastle spent 100 million in the January window. Burnley, Watford are definitely down. It's already over. I think that's your that was the positive comment that you were going to get. Jay is saying we were too slow. Drop Holgate, Decore, John Joe Canny, Pickford. They were all really slow, and it's the scaredness we talked about, the unwillingness to make things happen and to take control. Triple Cap, hi, saying signing Ali was yet another F up, and you think he's a good player, maybe find another hobby. Barry saying looks overweight. There's people agreeing with him. Criticizing for Richarlison. Comments about Watford. Are they above us in the league? I mean, I can't even look at it. It's just absolutely sickening. Damari Gray and Gordon going to be key to us staying up. Jay is saying Vauxhall Conference team, would beat us. I mean, we played Boreham Wood, who are non-league. They're in the 5th tier, and we really struggled to play them. We went with this 5 at the back. I think we sink to whoever we play against, really, and we can only raise our game when we know we're going to lose. Brendan saying 15 of the last 19 games we've lost. It's abysmal. That's 30 games over the course of a season to lose.
The thing is, there wasn't even no pressure on those games. These next games going forward now, there's more pressure on them. So is it going to get even worse with more pressure? Because those games we didn't even need to win back then. But now it's getting like we're in a situation where they're looking at the table each game, and we do need to start winning games with pressure. And our team and our players under pressure, you could not rely on. I hope they turn it around. I do agree with the person that said we're very lucky this season that there are 3 bad teams at the bottom, and I think that could massively help us.
Dan, typically 35 points keeps you up. Last season it was 29, I think. But I think that was a peculiar season, obviously, with COVID. So 35 to 39 points generally keeps you in the league. We were on 22 with 13 games. I don't see it happening. I'll be honest with you. You really are relying on Burnley being bad, and I think they've got more fight. I think they've got more grit defensively than us. It is really scary. I think this is the realization now, 13th, and you could sense that coming out of the ground. It wasn't even to some extent anger. It was a lot of acceptance. And you can hear people saying, we just aren't good enough. Ev is saying, there's a lot of comments. Sorry if I can't get through everyone today. Ev is saying what happened to Sigurdsson. His contract was ripped up under police investigation, not named in the PL squad, and wasn't brought back in January, and he's still on bail at the moment. So he won't be playing for Everton again. And aside from whatever he's did or didn't do, and it's not our position to judge or to even, validate or whatever you want to say. We don't know what has gone on truly. I've got some inkling and I've been told, but I'm not going to share it on here. We've missed him as a footballer, and you can't take that away, that we missed the link between midfield and attack. And as slow as he was, and for his all his faults, I would love to have had him playing for us at the moment. I'll be honest, and James. I think give us more control.
I wasn't a big fan of Sigurdsson, but he did play well against it in these sort of games. He would get you the win in these sort of games. He wasn't good in the big games, but I do feel against a weaker team, he did show his class. Sigurdsson did, but like you say, we don't know what happened. But for sure, you've got to replace him if you haven't got him anymore, and we didn't do that.
Newcastle lost, which is good, I suppose. What does Decore bring to the midfield? That's from GDI, sorry. Van der Beek was trying. I think Van der Beek defensively was good. He got stuck his foot in. He seemed frustrated and annoyed. I think it was Decore who was the weak link in there, and the fullbacks and the wingers weren't very good either, and Richarlison wasn't very good. If I'm being honest with you, apart from the goal, I think the two centre-halves were all right defensively. I think Van der Beek was okay defensively. I think it was the build-up. We were stifled. We just didn't have the quality or the plan. Peter is a Liverpool fan. He's saying, why hasn't the club been given Big Dunk the opportunity? I think Duncan is one of those where, he's in a position of relative comfort. And if he takes the job full time and it doesn't go wrong, he's lost his job for life that he has potentially, being as part of a coaching team. We've got a West Ham fan. Good afternoon. He's saying anyone that appoints Lampard and Ashley Cole will get relegated. We've got Max, who's another non-Everton fan. We're grateful for that you're joining us on here. More than happy to have you. Please subscribe. Should we have a look at the subscriber count, Dan?
Yeah, have a look.
We're on 932 subscribers. Let's get up to 950. Come on, give us a big push.
Just give us a subscribe.
Go on, hit that button. Takes 2 seconds. What's wrong with Kenny? He's just being hung out to dry. He's not a left-footed player playing at left back. He's showing a bit of tenacity and he's gone in. And really, I don't think that foul happens, if he's on the opposite side. I'll be honest with you. He's probably just as frustrated. He's a massive Evertonian. He's not good enough, for where Everton want to be as a club. But thanks, Mac Jam, for subscribing. It just pops up on the email. Very nice. But,
good lad.
It's one of those with Kenny. Jeff Beresford, he's a friend of the show. One of Mabsy, Park and Goodison's good friends as well, saying DCL's a sick note. Not interested, and Kenny's not good enough to start. Peter is saying, I'm an LFC fan. I'll be honest, the Prem wouldn't be the same without you. I think if you live within the city, a lot of Everton fans don't want, a lot of Liverpool fans don't want Everton to go down. I think it becomes disinteresting, a bit boring. They've got a lot of friends and family who are Evertonians, and they probably recognise the grander picture of it. At the same time, there is a lot of Liverpool fans who would love nothing more than Everton to go down, and it's extremely sickening that. And I'll be honest, don't take it the wrong way, no disrespect, but there's a rivalry there, and Liverpool potentially winning Champions League, the Premier League, and the FA Cup and the league, and us going down. And it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it shows at the minute, though.
A million to one.
I think it shows when you look at the players that we've got. Like all these big names like Richarlison, Ali, Allen, some good name players. And I think a lot of people look at us like thinking you shouldn't be in a relegation battle. But with the way we've performed this season, we deserve to be where we are. Obviously, I pray to God we stay up. And I think that we still can stay up. I still always believe I always will. I'm an Everton fan. I always will be. But for me, unless you've got a good defence, you are always going to struggle. And our defence at the minute, for me, every time, other than Godfrey being back, just isn't good enough. And I feel like that's why we keep losing.
I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry I came back in or came back out halfway through speaking.
Probably because I talked.
Watford fan thinks they'll stay up. Fair enough.
Cheers, mate.
You'll probably beat us. This person saying we're deluded because we think we're a big club. No. Don't chat bollocks. I mean, we're the 5th or 4th most successful team in England in history, pioneers of the English game. And if you look at our global fan base and we sell out the stadium home and away, week in, week out, no matter the opposition. So on that basis, we are a big club. I'm not going to put you on mute, but please, let's keep the comments sensible. People saying Dele Alli waste of space. Some fans saying we aren't beating Newcastle. Cody getting the winner for Wolves. I mean,
yeah, idiot.
Just you couldn't make the script up, could you? Really, the Liverpool fan. Paul's not happy with Mason Holgate. Wasn't that bad today, was he? I mean,
I thought he was good, but I still don't think. I thought he played good. He wasn't to blame, but I still don't think he's good enough.
Dan, talk me through the goal. Could anything have been done? I mean, Michaelenko obviously could have stopped the cross.
Yeah, stupid free kick on the left. Didn't need to give it. And obviously we
third in
know we're bad at
succession.
defending free kicks. And then Connor Cody got in front in a good position. He's going to score from there. Simple as that. But you don't need to be giving set pieces away like that, especially when you know we struggle to defend set pieces. We did that too much today for me. We stupid fouls and let the game slow down, and you can't build momentum and get that fast closing down, drive, energy up if you keep giving free kicks away and allowing the game to stop. That's into Wolves' hands, because Wolves have got slow players. And if the game keeps stopping, they like it. They'll just get on the ball and just play it at their pace. And we didn't want to do that. So it was stupid mistakes, stupid free kicks that we shouldn't have made.
Make a good point. Wolves have got no pace. I'd agree with you in terms of up front. Jimenez isn't particularly quick. I mean, they've obviously got Pedro and Podence, who's like the dwarf playing for them on the wing. But you've got pace there. But I think in midfield and in defence, fullback as well, I don't think they've got pace. I think we just made it so easy for them. And we should have been far more aggressive, far more intensity, had another striker or another real forward player on the top line and gone for it.
The commentators was
for me.
The commentators were saying though, Richarlison looks really sharp. He's got Cody in the bag and he was getting in front of him loads. And Richarlison started really well, but we just wasn't giving him the service that he needed. I do feel that Richarlison on Cody would have done him all the time if he had the right service.
940 subs, 10 more to hit our target 950 on the stream. 10 more people hit that.
Come on, subscribe
for us. We want 1,000 subs. We want 1,000.
Got to get 1,000 now.
Van der Beek was always finding space. No one would pass to him. Something that I look at, to be honest with you, when I look back at the game, and I will inevitably watch it again. We'll skip through it because I want an inquest. I want to know why that happened today. Why we didn't exploit them. And thanks for subscribing, Darren Wong. Why we didn't exploit them, because they must have had some weaknesses. The thing, Dan, about Wolves maybe is they play very compact, don't they, when they haven't got the ball, and the spaces between the players quite narrow, stop you playing through them. And when you've got no creativity and no one willing to stretch, there isn't the answers there. I mean, unfortunately, we're just not very... This is the thing. I'm thinking we're just not very good. Jack is saying, Leeds fan here, keep up the good work. Thank you. People saying, let's play the kids. We should be paid on points for the rest of the season. Does anyone want to carry the ball? No. Someone who likes the cat. It's literally just... You're bored.
It's turning its head.
Are you bored, Charlie? He's got a bright blue Everton collar on. Does she show you collar? Yeah? I don't know whether you can see it. But he sits on the streams.
Blue collar.
Wondering what's going on. Mike Curry is saying, my wife made the mistake of coming in the room and asking how the game is going. My missus, before the game, she was saying to me, I don't want to go. I want to stay in bed. I want to have a chilled day, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go. She got a season ticket in the top balcony with her family. Me and David go, and Mabsy couldn't go today, he was in work, but we go, we sit in the park end. And she, just as I'm about to leave, she said, oh, I'll come with. And David said in the car to her, Jasmine, this, you might as well stay at home. Now it's not too late to just get out the car and go back in the house. And I was thinking to myself then at the time, I was like, you're probably right. And he was right.
Like, it's so bad that we lost against them. For me, a draw wasn't good enough.
We're not even getting draws.
We needed to win. Yeah, I felt like we needed to win.
We're getting beat week in, week out. It's 16 defeats. It's dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. I've never seen it in my life.
Players start to say that the fans put them under too much pressure and stuff like that when the professional footballers that get paid how much they do. I just think it's a bit cowardly to come out, and these some of our own players as well coming out before the game saying fans get behind us and stuff like that. They just need to go and do it themselves. For me,
the pinning at us, I think it was wrong for Gordon to be to do that promotional video for us. You're putting a huge weight of expectation on the fans to turn up for it. And I think the minute the fans saw the team and the fact that it was a 2:00 kickoff on a Sunday, it didn't feel hostile. We didn't really make it difficult for Wolves as a group of fans. I mean, I tried doing a little bit of booing and whistling, but really it wasn't there. I think it should have been like when we played Leeds, and it wasn't.
Do you feel it was too defensive though? I honestly think with the with defenders in front of defenders, like Kenny and Mikalenko playing in front of each other, and then on the other side, Coleman. I just felt like it was too defensive. I felt like we should have gone for it more. There's too many defenders on the pitch for me.
I agree, but I think the idea behind it was to make sure there was always an option, bringing the ball out from the back, try and outnumber Wolves on the sides, or at least match them up where possible. It was a 4 at the back in build-up, and it would shift to a 5 when we were. It was like we'd press, and if the press was bypassed, we were forced to drop because of sustained possession. It would become a 5. So it was flexible. It was a 4 and it was a 5. But you were right. Too many defenders on the pitch and players of a quality that have proven over years and years that they aren't good enough.
I think Richarlison needed someone close to him. Like when Ali got next to him, they looked like there was 2 threats together, and I felt like no one was close to Richarlison. You need to play 2 strikers for me. You need someone in the number 9 position. You need someone close to Richarlison. Otherwise, it's just predictable. It's just one ball into him. Otherwise, run down the wings and cross it in.
Alan to come on and control it. Do you think he missed an opportunity there, maybe to change things up and bring on Alan?
I don't know. We've tried it with Alan, haven't we? We've tried it with Alan Beak and Decore, but it didn't work, did it? So obviously he's tried something different.
It doesn't work no matter who plays.
No, that's the problem.
It doesn't work no matter what option, what system, what players are on the pitch. That's the sad thing about it. Peter's saying we should have gone for Eddie Howe. Do you make of that?
Well, the thing is, they'll probably say it's Eddie Howe that's done this with Newcastle, but it's also the massive thing of Newcastle playing so well is the players. The players are hungry to do well, and for us, it's our players. I don't think it's the manager. I think it's down to the players. Newcastle's players are up for it, and our players ain't.
Correct. And that's the fight and the confidence. Probably the change of ownership will bring. Mark saying we need to play teams in similar positions. That way there'll be more space to penetrate. I think we played the teams in worse positions or similar positions, the Burnleys and all them. We've lost the games. We lost to Norwich away from home. We lost to Watford at home. We deserve to be where we are for a reason, because it's consistency and it's consistently poor. The teams that I fancied us to beat were the teams sort of mid-table, probably between 12th and 16th and 10th and 16th or 8th and 16th. But really, you got Wolves in there, and now they're, they've got, I said in the preview, they've got an outside chance of Europe. They were only 4 points behind 5th. And I think now they're still, I think they've gone above Spurs maybe.
Yeah, it did say that's massively helped Wolves for their chance on furthering up the table. But
if they get Europe, what a job Bruno Lage has done with a team that was fighting relegation last season. So really, I think we're going to struggle no matter who we play against. I think we need to be more pragmatic away from home. Probably need to play a little bit more safe. But then again, I suppose there isn't the time for that. But we're not going to out football teams. We're just not. With this confidence, with this group, with these players and the way they're playing, I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do.
That's what's worrying, though. If you play safe, you're giving up the 3 points, and you're not going to win games where we do. The 3 points for us is massive. Sometimes I think park the buzz and play safe, but then you're taking away the chance of actually going and getting the 3 points that we massively need. So my head now is saying go attacking and try and win some games, because we need to win a couple of games to stay up now, and we've got to try and do that.
What we did wrong was really we should have done the 5 at the back against Spurs away from home, and we should have attacked with the 4-3-3 today against Wolves, and we did the complete opposite.
Wrong way round, yeah.
We're not picking up any points we're not even getting draws, and that's the thing. We're a beaten side. Stu is saying 4-4-2 would be better. Give us more support up front. Aziz is saying we have tough games coming. We've still got to play Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester United. We're ahead of Watford by goal difference. Scary. GDI saying I've subscribed. Thank you. I think we're at 942. 8 more subscribers, please. Go on, hit that subscribe button for us. Support the channel. And let's get up to 950 on this stream. Thank you very much. T. Williams is saying too many cowards in the team. Get the young lads like Dobbin and Onyango in the team. Dave is saying it was Lampard's fault. We should have played 4-3-3. Godfrey at left back. I think we will see Godfrey at left back on Thursday, and Michael Keane brought back in. A lack of mobility with our CDMs is killing us. We are worse now than that season under Howard. When we survived last day drawing to Coventry. Do you remember that, Mark? Dan?
No, I don't remember that, but I can imagine that we are worse than that now.
Trench is saying madness how Lampard plays a higher line with Michael Keane. I think we have the pace with Ben Godfrey to be able to push up. We do. He was underused until then.
I think the scary thing is trying something new. It's a bad time to be trying something new and taking gambles on something you're not sure that's going to work.
I'm going to try and whiz through these comments. There's loads. I'm skipping loads. I'm sorry. Whether you stay up or down, this is a humbling for some of your fans. We're too arrogant. Interesting thoughts there. John saying we've got a lack of direction. I agree. Wolves fan here, you bought wrong. Yeah, we did. They got Moutinho and Neves for less than Dele. We paid nothing for Dele Alli at the moment, but I agree with you. And we did try and sign Moutinho, but we tried to sign him 10 years ago. I think all longer, to be honest. 2009, 2008. We tried to bring him in. David Moyes. How did they get Bruno Lage and we got Rafa? Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Cody Kilman, 5 million spent.
The signings, though, El Ghazi, for me, we're not even going to use him all season, El Ghazi. And we could have done with a defensive centre midfielder or a centre-back. And to buy El Ghazi and have so many wingers, Townsend already and Gordon and Gray, and why we're paying El Ghazi's wages on loan this season just for no reason bedazzles me.
Unbelievable, really. I mean, he's not going to get a sniff. Nowhere near it. Shouldn't have signed him. Pointless. We needed a centre-half. We desperately needed a centre-half and a defensive midfielder. Reminds me of Newcastle 08-09. I think not signing Idrissa Gueye, that would have been massive because he would break up play before it became dangerous for us, and we've just not replaced him. Mac Jam's a massive Wolves fan. He's saying he's Everton's his second team, going back to, 40, 50 years, 70s and 80s. I went to watch them when we were banned in the 80s. I still remember the Holy Trinity. Thanks for that, Mac. Michael saying the difference is when we were in possession, they closed us down quickly. When we had it, we sat off. I think that's because when we pressed, they still played through us. And in the end, we kind of gave up with that. We had too many defenders. We dropped down out of midfield. There wasn't the opportunities to press. We liked to press when they were in the corners and with their back to goal. And they didn't play like that. They were very positive Wolves. They kept the ball moving quickly in that second half and played on the front foot. Too many defenders from Hugh. Too many defenders from Blue Nose WKD. We're still in the FA Cup, someone's saying. We're blaming Rafa. No, I don't. But the impacts of that regime. They're still...
I thought Rafa Benitez was awful. there's a lot of pressure on Lampard because he's got to get things right quickly. But I honestly thought Benitez, his form, he come in to be really good defensively, and we was going to be a hard team to beat, and he completely isn't that. A lot of people get lost in what Rafa was, and they have to realise there's a reason that no one wants Rafa as the manager, is because he isn't good, and he's a massive part of where he is the reason we're in this situation. Because being an Everton fan, so many games Rafa Benitez set us up wrong. And if we would have got points back then that he just lost us on bad, he was so stubborn as well, playing players just to make a point. And he was a toxic manager. He split the fans, and he just wasn't good anyway. So I don't think this blaming Rafa. Rafa was bad, as simple as that. And I will always say he was bad because he hasn't helped us. And he's put us in this situation. He's a massive part of it. Lampard's come in, 5 games? So you can't really blame him. So for me, it's got to go to Benitez. But people will always say that, oh, you're blaming Benitez. They say that. But for me, Benitez was a massive reason that we're in this situation.
Someone's asking if Pickford, Ricky was saying, will he stay if we go down? Dan, who would stay realistically if Everton got relegated? Are any of these prepared for a fight in the Championship to drag Everton back up?
Well, someone did say to me that in the our players' contracts, we haven't got clauses where they will leave, so they could still stay. And if we went down and had to pay their wages, it could make the situation really bad. I don't know how true that is, but I just read that on Twitter saying that if we went down, we'd go down with the players and have to pay their wages, which would mean we're in a really bad situation then, because paying the big wages that they get in the Championship, bringing in less money, would be a bad situation for us. We can't go down. That's the thing, and that's what's scary now. Is if we keep losing, we will go down. But for me, there's going to be a lot of bad things if we do go down. It's not just that we go down, lose a few players and try and come back up. I think the money situation with the new stadium and us paying players too much and having loads of players on big wages, it would just be really, really toxic, and would be one of those teams where we go down and things wouldn't be good. So I don't want us to go down 100%. We need to stay up. I'm still going to believe that we're going to stay up. I do think the 3 teams at the bottom are teams that can go down. I still believe that we can stay up, but if we keep putting these performances in, then we won't. But I'm hoping that Lampard can turn it around, but he ain't at the minute. But we've just got to hope that we do stay up. You can never think go down. I don't want to get my head in that mindset, go down, because it would be so bad for us.
There would be some parachute payments, as the comments that people in the comments are pointing out. And talking about FFP, I don't know the impacts of that in the Championship. Don't know whether there's some allowances made. Obviously, we've lost a massive sponsorship deal with USM, which would only happen to Everton. And Kazoo don't want to renew with us. They want us to take the same deal as Villa, $6 million a year. So we're a mess on and off the pitch. I think we're trying to do the right things, but it's not working. And it's become a habit, losing. And the feeling within the club is one of real disappointment and negativity, and it's culture now. I'm going to wrap things up very shortly. In terms of who I think will stay if we go down, I think Richarlison will be off. I think Calvert-Lewin will be off. I think you'll be looking at Michael Keane, Holgate, Godfrey, Kenny, Coleman. I think all your defenders would still be there, which is a worry. I think Pickford would leave. And then you look at the midfield. You couldn't really afford to have Allen here at the club. I think he'd go. Decore would stay, I imagine. Van der Beek would be back at United. Davis would become a key player. Tom Davis would come back in. Gomez would be off. Townsend would stay. Gray would stay. Gordon would stay. But really, I wouldn't expect that group of players to have enough to play and get us out of the mess in the Championship, if I'm honest. And I know I'm sounding extremely defeatist, and I love your positivity, Dan. I think that's what making the video really good. But it's all about opinions, isn't it? Guys, thanks for watching. Dan, thank you so much for spending over an hour on the stream. We've had between 100 and 150 watching at all times, which is fantastic. And if you haven't already subscribed, please support the channel.
I think I'm going to go and cry now. You know what I mean? I've tried to keep my emotion. It's depressing, but Yeah, it's really depressing, but we're supposed we've got to stick to it, haven't we? It's not good at the minute. I was hoping to come on. I was getting my dance moves ready and my celebrations when we won. I thought this is going to be we're going to beat Wolves, and I'm going to have a proper laugh on your channel and be buzzing that we've won and jump about. But our players don't seem to want to win, do they, at the minute? So unfortunately, we're fans that just are going to be stressed and depressed for another how long until we play.
You're going to go and have a lie down?
No, I'm going to order a Chinese or something. Cheer me up, mate. I'm not going to let Everton defeat me. But one thing I will say is if I would have played against Wolves, I think we would have won. So they need to try a bit more.
Just a final comment, Dan. That was a brilliant way of summarising it. Ryan going for the old 70s football commentator jacket. It is a bit like Motti, isn't it?
Yeah, you do. I did think you look a bit badass with that jacket, mate. You look like Rocky / like he said, like one of the commentators on a winter's day, mate, at the football stadiums.
I think it's
like,
more
he's just scored a goal, top corner. You should see it.
Love it. Motti here. It's Everton lost again in Goodison Park. What was it? A fantastic game for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Everton probably are now going down. That's all from us on Follow Everton. We're smiling, but actually we want to cry. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Dan, I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much for making this video.
No worries, mate.
Thank you.
See you later.